When you're using a nymph or a streamer, you want to get that fly down to the bottom. Fish mostly lay at the bottom of a river or a creek or a lake. Not very often is it right up there in the halfway between the surface and the bottom. Yes, they can be at the top, but that's a different story. But if you are fishing with a nymph or a streamer, you want to get it down to the bottom. The fish are laying there on the bottom in a stream, for example, and just picking off food as it's coming down on the bottom. So how do you get the fly to the bottom? How do you weight this system? Well, you can use a sinking line or a sinking tip. That's very effective. I use them in lakes especially. You can put some kind of weight on the monofilament as you are going, the leader, either a pinch-on or a wrap-on kind. That's very effective. But for the purpose of this video, we want to talk about how to weight the fly. You can do it in two different ways. One is that we put wire around the shank. The wire can be from two different sources. It can be either lead or lead-free. And we in the Healing Water group like to recommend the lead-free because it's more environmentally clean. But both work. The lead, or the wire, I should say, comes in various sizes. One size here, for example, is 0.015, and it's a pretty thin wire, and you would use that for like a size 14 nymph. The heavier material is 0.03, or 0.035, and it's the wire is thicker, and thus bigger for a bigger fly, like a size 8 streamer. Another way to get the fly down is by putting a bead on the head of the fly. You put the bead through the hook and bring it up to the front of the fly. There's all kinds of beads. There's beads that are made out of nickel and brass and copper. They come in sizes that would fit all the different kind of hooks that you would need. There's also one that's called tungsten, and that's the heaviest material. It's heavier even than lead, I believe. And tungsten, when you put a tungsten bead on, it goes down faster than a brass or copper or nickel. But they're more expensive, so you got to make some choices there. There's also a thing called a cone head, and right there. And cone heads come in various sizes, various colors, various materials. And the cone is just like a bead, put on the same way, and it's a very effective way of getting flies down to the bottom. Now, which way would you use? Well, if you put the weight on the shank, I notice that the flies kind of descend like this, not dipping, but kind of like this, down. If you put them on the head, you definitely are going to get a downward facing of where the bead is, and then if you pull, it might go up and it might go down, and so that might be the technique you want to use. So you have choices on how you want to present your nymph. Now, in the next section, I'm going to demonstrate how to wrap the wire and how to put the beads on.